You remember Cliff's Notes, those black and yellow little books that helped you out if you didn't read the novel you were supposed to read in school? I owned a few of those. Well, today I want you to meet an interesting guy who went from selling Cliff's Notes to tossing the books away so he could pursue the arts. Folk arts, that is. Here's his story.
As I was selling Cliff Notes, I was visiting all parts of the Southeast. But it wasn't until I went to Cleveland, Georgia, that I discovered at an old soda shop that I stopped in for a Coke float and cinnamon toothpick, the Lanier Metters face jug sitting on the counter. I thought I knew everything about the Southeast because I'd traveled it so well. But what I didn't realize and what I was missing out was the visual culture of the Southeast. And what was embodied in that face jug, to me, visualized the best of the Southeast, the best of the art. The next thing that happened was I realized that this art form was dying out. Now, unfortunately, I ended up buying and collecting more folk art than books I sold, so I was fired from Cliff Notes and found myself without a job. And that's when I discovered that maybe I should produce a folk art show. There has never been a show that had Southern folk pottery, folk art, all under the same roof. Now we get 12 to 15,000 visitors every year, have over 100 galleries and dealers representing this great art, new discoveries coming in all the time. We have masterpieces being sold, museum quality, so it's an amazing event.
And joining us now is Steve Slotin, who created and runs the world's largest folk art auction sale.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah, what is folk art?
Well, the definition, the broad definition, is that the artists were untrained as far as being artists and unschooled. A lot of these artists had to drop out of school early on, most of them around 8th grade, to help on the family farm or in the industry or whatever it was to help bring money in for the family.
Is this a Southern thing?
Well, the South was ripe for this kind of condition. It wasn't until the South became industrialized that we found ourselves going to school longer and that people were being trained.
Is there money to be made in collecting folk art? Do people invest in it, or is it just something?
I would say this is the greatest investment you can make. First of all, it's still kind of underground collecting. There's not a lot of people who know about self-taught art. And as we expose people to it, more and more people are collecting it. So I've seen the value of these pieces of folk art go up in the last 10 or 20 years from a couple $100 to well over $500,000.
Tell us a little bit about these pieces that you brought in.
Well, I fell in love with face jugs first. So Lanier Metters is really the father of face jug, and he was right here in Cleveland, Georgia. Once I discovered the Southern folk pottery tradition, it led me into collecting folk art. And that just led me to finding out so much more about what's going on, not only in the Southeast, but in the entire United States. There are folk artists everywhere, and my job has been to bring it out and introduce it to the public.
Steve, how do people find you?
Super. Slotinfolkart.com.
Spell Slotin.
S-L-O-T-I-N, folkart.com.
That is beautiful. This is fascinating.
It's a fun field. I recommend everyone look into it. It's right here. It's homegrown. It's in their backyard. Easy to enjoy and fun to collect.
Perfect. Steve Slotin, our Trustdale team is hard at work for you, and we'll have another success story to share coming up.